Mark's working late tonight, and this is Smokey Steve and Mark. Welcome or welcome back. Thursday. So today was our office's, the company's Christmas party. As you can see, I'm kind of dressed for the occasion. I don't own any ugly Christmas sweaters, but the theme was ugly Christmas sweater. But I had my all I want for Christmas is a Lake Monster shirt, which was a gift, and my camo scarf from Mom, and of course my name tag. And okay, so I was talking to Mark in real time while I'm at this thing because I work with incredible people, and we had dinner or lunch at a place that had incredible food. I think they killed off the whole appetizer menu. They just kept bringing more and more. They must have brought 9 plates worth of appetizers of all different types. So I tend to steer when it comes to holiday parties. Not because I don't like Christmas, not because I don't like people, but I don't like so much Christmas and so many people. Not to say like we'll go to family dinners and Christmases and all that kind of stuff, or go for dessert sometimes if it's not for the whole meal, but still try to participate in the experience somehow in some sort of way. So most years I don't go to this office stuff. I just don't do it. For no other reason. I just don't care to. So I thought, I'll be a sport, I'll go this year, and I won't bitch about it the whole time. That's what makes you a sport. You're not a sport if you bitch. So I will go and not bitch this time. So I had to work a normal day this morning. We were given the heads up going to today's event that there was going to be an ugly sweater contest and then a couple other games to go with it. So I had to work this morning. I was on the phone, the usual stuff. It's still the end of the year, the end of the fourth quarter. I'm not where I'd like to be with my program, but we met our goal for the year, so we're where we need to be. Everything else is just gravy after that. And so today, I start at 9, and then at 11:30, we were going to be over at this place next 2 towns over. It's like a sports bar, but it's a sports bar with like a really nice addition room put onto it, because we pulled up, and I'm like, Jesus, it must have been a tough year. But no, we got inside, and it was beautiful. We were all seated, no buffet or anything like that. And it wasn't actually, like I said, lunch. Like, they brought all sorts of different things, like little spring rolls. And it was a step up from bar food. It was like posh bar food. So they weren't frying frozen egg rolls in the back. But they were having spring rolls with homemade house sauces and wing bites and bacon-wrapped cheese and pepperoni, which, if you're on keto, have at it, because they were delicious. They were so good. Oh God, they had so much else. Tomato and basil mozzarella with balsamic on top of it. Some veggies with a little bit of a dip. Sliders, tater tots. What else was there? Dumplings, steamed dumplings, nachos. They kept coming and coming, and there was like plate after plate. So the food was very good, and it's the kind of food I would probably love to order and eat. We don't eat a lot of hot food here at Smokey Steve and Mark. Because we end up eating usually late at night when Mark and I settle down to eat. So usually the food has been cooked, cooled, and needs to be reheated. So it was a nice change to have hot food for a different... Not that Mark doesn't make hot food, obviously, God, he's a chef, but it's not something we eat all the time. I usually don't eat during the daytime either. I still more or less do OMAD, 1 meal a day. I don't do it religiously for weight loss purposes. I just find it easier to go through my day without thinking about food and then try to get the nutrients in all in one shot. So that broke up my activity today. So in trying to get into the spirit of things, had to get a little bit out of my comfort zone. So I had to participate. So I put on my name tag to participate. I caught a ride over with a friend from work. She's sort of a new friend from work. She's only been there a few years. I teach adult mental health first aid, and she's one of the co-instructors that I work with, and she's a hoot. She works out of the office mostly. She just comes in periodically, but she came for the party. I caught a ride over there with her. She's a cigarette smoker, and I've been really good with my vape, but sometimes a cigarette just hits that part of your soul that a vape doesn't, especially in trying times and anxious times and all that kind of stuff. So I had a couple cigarettes in the car, and we get there, and my boss directed us where to sit, which is like this long, if it was a wedding hall, there'd be a long banquet across the wall, and then rounds all up through the center. And we were at the long banquet one. Couldn't be further from the door. So, and I wasn't given the impression it was an option. to where I could sit. I'm sure it would have been if I made one of those. Reasonable accommodation stinks, but it's a goddamn Christmas party. I just wanted to be comfortable. I don't wish I was uncomfortable in your crowd either, but I am. So, zigzag around, sit. I'm comfortable with the coworkers I'm with. I'm with a couple of people from another department, and then I have the girl I rode with, and then another coworker who I like. She does investigations, and then it's the whole department. I work in advocacy, so it's the whole advocacy department and all the little sub-departments that go along with that. On everyone's plate was the napkin, the silverware folded. Well, there was a small sticker attached. Did I lose mine? To the underside of one of the napkins. And if that was yours at your table, you won a prize. So of course I won, and I was eager to give it away because I didn't know what the prize was. The prize was part of the games that they had going on, besides the ugly sweater contest, which they gave like most original, most creative, and ugliest. And I wasn't there for that part of the contest. I was outside doing self-care. And it was a nice thing. It was a nice day to be with coworkers. We do these things with our agency a couple times a year. And I really appreciate it because these are done on top of compensation and merit-based and holiday raises and things like that. So it's not like we got a sweatshirt and a pizza party and no money. They balance the two quite nicely. Very satisfied. Very satisfied. So pushed myself through and got to the end of it. And I won a $5 scratch-off ticket and a icicle thing to hang on the tree, an ornament to put on the tree. And that was my little green tree. What I had to do was there was a box set up, and each one had like a cup with paper over the top of it, like tissue paper, and inside there was a prize. So you had to go in, couldn't see what it was, pull it out, and there's your prize. And I won a $5 scratch off, and I lost. And I'm right there. Like, if this is green, I'm gone. And to that end, it was okay. Now, I started to get a little sketchy after about the 7th course of fried appetizers, because I was starting to get full. I usually don't eat a lot in front of people, and these were coming slow, and you could hear the hush across the room start to build as the food coma started to set in, and everybody got increasingly full. Shrimp cocktail. They had shrimp cocktail, too. Decent count shrimp, too. And it was nice to eat. It was nice to nibble. It's the kind of way I would like to eat, too. It was almost like big plates of small plates, because they were nicer appetizers for a sports bar. You know, it wasn't like a bloomin' onion or anything. But so once we got a few courses in, I started to get a little sketchy. I didn't really want to be around that many people anymore. There was probably a couple hundred people there that worked for my agency. The room was bigger than usual, but not huge. They did have these beautiful wicker chairs with arms on the side for the table. Perfect. They were great. But I had to leave mine. So I left my coat. I went outside to have a cigarette and vape a little bit. And it's cold. It was cold today. Yesterday it was like 50 something. Today it's like 30 for the high. I'm in the 20s tonight. Went out to get some fresh air and I went back in, and it's just being very, very, very loud. And then it's a party, you know, but they have organized activities at the party. So I'm watching my boss, you know, find her way through talking over 5 billion decibels, trying to be like, here's what we're doing for this game, and here's what we're doing for that game. So by the time it got to all the extra food, I was too full and uncomfortable, and I didn't want to eat anymore, and I was starting to feel a little nauseous, and it was probably in my head. So I excused myself, had another cigarette, and then kind of lingered in the hallway area. So I was listening. My coworkers were coming by back and forth to come in and out, but I just couldn't sit in my seat so far away from the exit. So I couldn't have been further away from the bathroom. So I got up and did what I needed to do to look after myself. So I was able to have a good time. I participated. I even won a prize. And when the time came, I needed to find a way to be safe. So getting through holiday parties and holiday events can be challenging if you have the slightest hint of mental health concern in any direction. If you have family dynamics that are interesting, if people like to party a lot in your house or whatever. So there's different ways to stay safe mentally and physically, and then keep your sobriety in check if that's your thing, all put together during the holidays. like the party I was at today, for example, the first thing I got in, I was unhappy to be so far away from the bathroom because I feel more comfortable near the bathroom. So if that's the back of the room, if it means sitting a little bit too close to the kitchen, I'll deal with that. I need to have the safety in mind that that's right there. Also exits. So if, my most neurotic self breaks out, I could be like, okay, we can run over there. There's a path in between, so I know how to get out. If I'm out among drinking friends, I'll get a soda usually instead of like a club soda with lime because it looks a little bit too much like a drink to me. Not that I would necessarily want to have like, eggnog or anything like that because I think eggnog's gross. It's, as tempting as it ever is for someone who used to be addicted to something. You try to steer around it so you don't have too many feelings about it. So for an event like today, when it was over, I think some people were going to stay for drinks. That's when I do my Irish goodbye. I just dip out the back door and we're gone. Didn't have to go back to the office today. Stayed out. And holiday safety for mental health, primarily whether it comes to parties or family or gatherings or soirees or Secret Santa or elephant parties or whatever those things are, is boundaries. Boundaries don't change because it's Christmas. If someone says to you, come on, it's Christmas, whatever they're trying to convince you to do, you probably wouldn't do any other day of the year, so don't because it's Christmas. If you're looking after yourself and your mental health, don't drink half a box of wine and skip your meds on Christmas just because it's Christmas. Some of us handle holidays and stress differently. At my parents' house for the holidays, when I was living with them, I was there all day for it. As we're older, the situations kind of switch up a little bit. Like for Thanksgiving this year, my parents came here, and Mark and I cooked, and they came, and then they left, and they were here for probably a couple hours. Mark starts his days late sometimes, depending on where his health's at. And so if we're going to go to my parents' house for Thanksgiving or Christmas, we tend to go up probably right after dinner and bring or eat dessert there and then visit. So I can go for the whole day if I'm feeling like, strong and up for it. And I think people also need to understand when it comes to boundaries and things like that. The boundaries aren't to keep people I don't like away, though that's what boundaries can do. It's just to stay sane in the time of things, especially I tend to hide in the kitchen a lot. Well, not hide. I like the kitchen. Everybody comes through at one point, so you get to see everyone. Not everybody comes in at once because, don't have a huge kitchen. And it's a way to kind of participate and be there, but not be there right away. For church, my whole family goes. They're Catholic. And they would go to Mass Christmas Eve, probably, not Christmas Day. And I wouldn't go because I'm not a practicing Catholic. But I would stay back, and while everybody was out, I'd make Christmas Eve dinner, which was usually like a few kinds of fish. We're not Italian. A few kinds of fish, some pasta, maybe a pizza, stuff like that to have, and snacky things like canned easy cheese and wheat thins. And that's how I'd participate with those holidays. So I'd pull myself generally away from some of it. Usually the boundary means I can't be around all of this and all of these people for all of this noise for all of this long. My boundary means if I need a break, I need a break. Today I was able to do that. Most other holidays I'm able to do it too. Sometimes you might need to plan ahead. If you're getting driven to a party with someone who maybe likes to drink or fight a lot, you don't want to be stuck. Drive your own car if you drive and you have the option, or public transit. Make sure you're self-sufficient as far as transportation goes. You don't want to catch a ride and be stuck at a party where there's people doing things you don't like, where the vibe is just not yours, but you can't leave because you're with your friends. So being mindful of our transportation, our money, it's a shoplifty time of year. Money is tight around the holidays, and being mindful of money I'm going to keep on me. Am I going to carry all my cards? Am I going to throw a 20 in my pocket with my license? Whatever you need to do. When I'm out and about, I tend to prefer to have my entire wallet on me, but I know a lot of friends who just have a money clip, just to keep that stuff on them. I need my stuff all together to be organized. Keep your phone charged also, because if you need to call someone, you need to text someone, you need to talk to someone, just to get a little venting. I do it with Mark in real time today. I was like, okay, just sat down. He's like, oh, how does the food look? And I'm like, oh, it looks good. So I'm connecting with someone in real time who's not there, but I'm bouncing my perceptions off of them and they're giving me feedback there. So a little of that, I think, is okay. Like, I was at the table with friends, so, and we're all working on the clock, so half of us are on our phones anyway. But then to try to put it to the side and then, you know, give respect to the real life audience that is all around us. So going forward into this Christmas, what are we looking at? Uh, Mark's been his health's been kind of like up and down as far as consistency day to day to day. Some days are rough, some days are good, but in the last they've been really close together for the last maybe 2 weeks or so. So assuming he's in good health, that's where we start the day. If we have a project, how's Mark doing? And if he's okay, then we continue with plans. If he's not, then we work on Mark till he's okay, and then we make plans or we change them or amend them or something. This is why we have Wednesdays with Mark, because life comes up in the meantime. Um, so yeah, that's pretty much all I wanted to share about looking after oneself. Um, Definitely rely on yourself as much as you can. But if you need a ride, if you need to get somewhere, if you can't afford the Uber, wake up a family member. I promise you, they'll be less upset than if your name is in the newspaper for like a vehicular homicide while DUI. I promise you. So even if you spent all your money for the Uber at the bar, and if you're me, back in the day, you did, or cab fare back then. Again, communication, having it on you is good. Charge your phone, keep it on you, keep a little cash on you, drive yourself if you can, get your own drinks, don't let anyone bring you a drink. Not that they might assault you, but just to be certain that you're going to have a good time on your terms. So that's what we have for you this evening. Thank you. I hope you do enjoy a few holiday celebrations if you do celebrate. Even if you don't, people are probably going to invite you anyway. So have a good time. Enjoy your friends and family. Enjoy the food. Enjoy the company. Use a little bit of moderation, and you'll probably sleep a little better than not going to bed on a full gut of nachos and shrimp and fried bacon and cheese. So thank you all for being here and watching. Please do subscribe, hit the notification bell. You'll get alerts when we have new videos and go live. We're on Facebook, Twitter, and Instagram, and our contact information is listed below. Thanks, and we'll catch up with you very, very soon. So, y'all have a happy, be safe, and we'll see you when we see you. Bye!